Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the new squat drop for Necromunda. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Cross the ash waste in short order with the Scalvian Explorator for the Ironhead Squat Prospectors. The Ironhead Squat Prospectors are people of the ash waste. Not for them is a life spent sequestered in their great holds. They seek treasure out in the dunes. They ply the great planetary trade routes in long fortified convoys. But as a separate political entity, the humans they share the planet with, so squats don't use ridge haulers to transport their precious cargoes. They have their own vehicles, huge tracked crawlers that wend their way across vast distances, bursting with goods, chems, and other spoils of the shadowy empire. These are the Scalvian Explorators, the workhorses of the squat holds. They are hard to crack, nearly impervious to small arms fire with a toughness of 7, which is ramped up to a formidable 9 against shots to the front and relatively rapid with a 6-inch move. Their Ironhead Claw can destroy obstacles and flimsy structures without damaging the vehicle itself. On top of that, they have the transport bed along either side of the hull and 2 weapons hardpoints, mounting those juicy Ironhead flamers and heavy stubbers. So I gotta say right off the bat, this thing is awesome. A lot of people have argued that the squat Ironhead Prospectors in Necromunda are much more of what they were hoping for with the return of the squats, which became the Leagues of Votann. And I have to say, in a lot of ways, I definitely agree. Now, I overall like the aesthetic of the Leagues of Votann and am definitely glad that they came back, and I really want to see the range filled out. But I do love the kind of like more old aesthetic of the actual like squat prospectors that they brought back in Necromunda. Now, one big thing that I would change, or I wish I could change, is that I would have made all of the Necromunda stuff compatible with 40k. One of the hardest things about bringing a new faction or like bringing one back is really like filling out the codex and making them an actual like viable army on the tabletop. And when they have a limited number of units, if they're going to be decent, they usually have to lean in super hard on one of those units. So if they had just a few more units, like for instance, some of the cool stuff from Necromunda, compatible with the Votann range, it would mean a ton more sales for Games Workshop, and it would mean that the army is substantially more fleshed out than it is now. And I know for sure I would be picking up at least a couple of these things to put in my 40k army, regardless if they were good or not, because this thing is awesome. That's not it for squat reinforcements. In the upcoming 3rd volume detailing the Uranthian succession, there are 2 exclusive higher guns coming as well. Orin and Ursin Grimjarl are amongst the last survivors of Jardlin, a squat hold destroyed under mysterious circumstances. Alright, so we'll get to them in a second. Here we have the rear view on this thing. I absolutely love how the tracks are with like the mounting of the tracks on the outside kind of like arms. Very, very cool. And just the overall aesthetic of this thing is awesome. It clearly can transport like goods. I would imagine at some point in time they're going to have like a little trailer to bring behind it. Very, very cool. We heard him talking about the claw and some of the actual like equipment and armament. Just really like the look of this thing. Orin is a house agent armed to the teeth. His status as Last Chancer, Lord of Jardlin, affording him access to Fractal Pulse Beamer, an extra deadly Inferno pistol, and a Techmite Excavator. Alright, so this is his Pulse Beamer. Very, very cool. I definitely like the look of it. He definitely looks a lot more like a Caradron Overlord's character than anything we've seen in the 40k universe otherwise. I'm not saying he doesn't look cool, but definitely KO. And I like his little dog right here. Games Workshop has obviously been like leaning in on like the little pets and stuff like that. Pretty cool though. Pretty cool. Here we get like a little close up. So he's got like the one big rear wheel and then like on each side like 2 little front wheel mounts with shocks. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Squighog boys. They've got like some cool stuff going on like this. Definitely a fan. Here we got him smoking a pipe. That's pretty cool. Obviously like the aesthetic on the weapon and then the cool backpack. Definitely a nice looking model. Very cool. With some strong Caradron Overlords vibes. His younger brother Ursin is more of a lone wolf, a bounty hunter with a souped up long shot hunting rifle that does 2 damage at strength 5 with rapid fire 1 and rending to boot. He's accompanied by a Techmite Oculi on his quest to hunt down the nomads of the Ash Waste who destroyed his home. All 3 of these resin kits will be available for pre-order from forgeworld soon. Alright, so here we see him. Cool looking sniper rifle. It's nice because it has like more of the rounded edges. It's not all boxy. Yeah, definitely a fan of this. The little like Techmite Servitor or whatever it is. These are cool too. Yeah, I like it. I think they got a good look to them. Very, very cool. Unfortunately, this is probably the worst decision Games Workshop could ever make. All 3 of these resin kits will be available to pre-order from forgeworld soon. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. So that is a real shame right there. I mean, the characters are pretty cool. I definitely like the models, but this thing is absolutely awesome. I wish they would have at least made this in plastic like they did with the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler. And then they could have done like an upgraded version of it where they put on some like forgeworld extra parts. But the fact that they made something this cool and they didn't make it in plastic, didn't make it compatible with 40k is just a massive mistake in my opinion. Obviously the Votann have two vehicles, the Land Fortress and the Sagittar, but it would be awesome to have a third one in there as well. And it really is a shame the route that Games Workshop has taken with Necromunda. They basically shot it in the foot with the Ash Waste box by overpricing it, and now you can pick it up for like 50% off. It's an amazing box, but it's lost all its hype. And then on top of that, they make so much cool stuff for it, but they make it all in forgeworld. So a lot of people just automatically pass on it because of the resin or because of the price. And I'm definitely one of those people. And it just feels like a lot of the time, the Necromunda stuff just doesn't have a chance because they make it in resin expecting low volume of people to buy it. And then because it's made in resin from forgeworld, of course, a low volume of people buy it. So it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the truth is, as salty of a situation it ended up being, Games Workshop basically did the exact same thing with 30k. They made all of these awesome new vehicles compatible in 40k and the sales went through the roof. The game was more popular than ever. The only problem is that they walked it back and made it all legends, so you couldn't use it anymore. And obviously that really upset a lot of people as they had spent a ton of money on stuff that was no longer usable and for sure felt hoodwinked. But that being said, we know that works. So if Games Workshop would have just made these in plastic, and I don't just mean this, I mean a lot of the other Necromunda stuff, and just made it compatible with 40k, even if they threw some of it in like the generic Imperial Agents, the sales will be exponentially better than they are selling this stuff through forgeworld. But let me know what you think down below. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. I really love this vehicle and the characters are pretty cool too, but it's just an absolute shame because if this stuff was in plastic, I know I'd be picking up at least a couple of these. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check them out to save 15% on Games Workshop, link in the description. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man. And the last line of this article was a real heartbreaker. And I'm out of here.